Hey, yo, what's going on, chat? Oh no, where's my chat? Oh, if you don't have a chat, you're just a guy screaming alone in his room. There. I think, well, what's up? Benedict, thank you for the prime, 53 months. Atrioc, my favorite quote of yours is it's easy to hate the rich, but do you have the courage to hate the poor? It really resonated with me. It takes courage. It takes strength. Okay? I'm not just jumping on the opportunity. I'm not just like pandering. You have to truly do the hard stuff. You got to hate the poor. You got to hate the weak. I think the Statue of Liberty is something about that. Good to see you. Serafa, thank you for the 44 months. Arum, thank you for the 16. Yardstick, thank you for the prime. Big A, been watching for 4 years, and now all my friends think I'm smart. I'm cooked. Listen, I appreciate the somewhat compliment, but maybe they just say that to keep you from talking about shit they don't care about. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because like I've yapped my friends' ears off, and they've been like, "Yeah, that's not smart," and they just want to talk about fucking sports. Not a lucky shot. Thank you for the 45 months. Anyway, I appreciate your compliment. Incognito. Thank you for the 44 months. I pray for a stable America so Big A can play some games. Some of you want a better economy for your future. Some of you want housing to get low so you can start a family. This guy wants things to settle down so that I can play monkey ball or some shit. Wow. What a noble rationale. Electrics, thank you for the 2 months. Sorry, 65 months. You said 2 months away from funny. Oh, yeah, 6, 7. Yeah, dude. 2 months away from funny, and then 2 months away from funny again. You're about to have back-to-backs, bro. You're gonna have a real great next 4 months. God, I envy you. Hey, Anomi, thank you for the 4 months. Killer Canuck, thank you for the 21. The Blomster, thank you for the 36. So glad things are finally going well in my life. Really looking forward to some world peace for a while. You're trying to be greedy, it sounds like. If shit's going well in your life, you can't also get world peace. In fact, we can make the case that the bad state of the world is negatively correlated with your good life, which means we need to make your life shit for everyone else to have a better life. I think you need to lose your job. I think we need to get him. Everyone in chat, get him! Bully the Blomster! Can we say this about your life? No, my life is terrible. I have the hardest life there is. I have to stream. If anything, I have the greatest burden on earth. I have to stream and podcast. No one man has ever had a more difficult. It's absurd. You are still draftable, white boy? Fuck no, I'm not. I appreciate you think I look youthful. I'm not fucking draftable at 34, bro. They're not fucking putting my old ass in a fucking tank. No way. No. You guys are, we need generals, little bro. Okay, fine. You can draft me to be a general. I accept. And my first act will be to send Zoomer Squadron straight to the front lines. Find me the most anime-obsessed Zoomers and send them straight to the front lines. We'll call it the One Piece Squadron. They'll volunteer. Zoro would dummy Iran. You know, I don't think the problem I think dummying Iran is not the hard part. It's the next step. Zoro Mamdani. +2, I guess. I'm not fully getting it, but Atrioc, would you become the next Ayatollah? That's another horrendous question. People in pre-chat were talking like I might get selected as the next Ayatollah of Iran. I saw that discussion being had. Like it was a toss-up. Maybe they would. I don't think that's likely. No, I don't think they're going to pick me. And I am a pick me. I am an Ayatollah pick me, dude. I am like obviously gonna be Elon. You think it's between me and Elon Musk for next Ayatollah of Iran? I'm just thinking. I'm no expert, but I gotta say I take the under. Verified debaser. They give the 19 months. But are you prepared if they do? Do I get a say in the matter, or do I have to just take up the mantle? Because I think it's just gonna be it's gonna interrupt my whole basketball thing. First of all, how can you say no? Just what happened to the last guy, you know? Do you ever think about how during your stream you're just making yourself laugh for a couple hours? I guess. God willing, it's a couple hours. God willing, bro. God willing. I don't know. I don't have a ton in the tank today. Dude, I played hard basketball on Sunday. Not well, but I played hard. I was dead, exhausted, tired, fucking slept like a baby. My legs hurt. My feet hurt. My shins hurt. Hurt my finger. Popped it on the ball. Shit was... A leaky bucket. Think of the 31 months. Turning the big 3-1. I can't imagine being a number bigger. I can already feel my skin sagging off. 31's not that old. First of all, there's a lot of things to unpack. Your sub is not your age. 31 months is not 31 years. 31 years is not old. There's 3 things wrong with your simple sentence. So I need to just, all of it is, it's a house of lies built upon sand. I feel like a boomer at 27. You guys say this like you're expecting me to, oh no, it's okay. No, you're not a boomer. Nah, fuck it, you're old as shit. Fine. I'm sick of it. You guys say it like you want the fucking, you want me to defend you. Nah, fuck it. You're old. It's over for you. 1 foot in the grave, bro. 1 foot in the grave. 30's the new 50. Bro who sips like that? Me. If you must know the answer to any question like that, where I take a drink on stream and you guys go, oh my God, why a mason jar? Who has a mason jar? Who drinks that type of LaCroix? It's me every time. It's me because I'm doing it. I'm drinking this, a smoothie. So I'm sipping out of the cup. There ain't nothing crazy about it. Lil Guppy thinks we won't cook him. You have such a misplaced confidence, is all I'm saying. You got such a misplaced confidence. You're acting like you are you're a great crowd work comedian out there. Just fucking. I will say, Lil Guppy's sippy cuppy. That is a +2. I'm not gonna let that slide by without giving it a +2. That's a +2. That's a bar, and bars get bar points. Hey, Atrioc, do you think you'd be a good poor in 2026 or a cranky ass poor like me? That's such a good question, bro. That's such a good question. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. I will say, I mean, it's tough because the world wasn't as bad, but I was not cranky when I was poor. But maybe I'd be cranky now. Mm. Bit thirsty, aren't we? Honestly, I'm cranky now, so I can't possibly be good. You said what? You said. Hey, do you know anything about the Malibu Fit situation? The way people are reacting feels exactly how you described the year of avoidance, or however you worded it. I said the year of retreat, and I don't know what this is. The year of retreat. But what is the Malibu fitness situation? You got a haircut, bro? No, I need one. I know what you're thinking. What hair to cut? But I haven't had a haircut in a while. I need to cut it. It's getting like kind of on the sides, you know? Malibu fitness situation. I'm not tapped in. This is a guy who pretended he took an IED blast to the face. Is that what we're talking about? Fitness influencer Lee Malibu Markham admits he falsely claimed IED injury. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's such a crazy gambit to run. He built a strong following in fitness and military communities on Instagram. Oh, and his face, you know, looks a little strange. People thought it was plastic surgery and facial fillers. And he said, no, it's because I took an IED to the face. To say that when you didn't is so fucking wild. And then he put IED survivor in my bio. That's crazy. That is some crazy stolen valor. Listen, that is wild. There's only two groups of people in our country who deserve to not have their accomplishments besmirched. Our brave troops and veterans and our even braver streamers. Okay? You can't be taking their accomplishments and passing them off as your own. Thank you for saying it. Yeah, no problem. I'm happy to stand up for what's right. Yeah, it's crazy by him. It reminds me, wasn't there that comedian who pretended to have survived 9/11, right? He was like, I worked in the towers on 9/11 and I escaped and people around me died and it was crazy. And then it turns out he wasn't even in New York. No, yeah, I think that's Steve. Steve, this guy. Yeah, the guy from the league. Dude, that is crazy. Yeah, you just. What's funny is like it didn't. Like he didn't need to do this. I think he was a decently fun. Like it's not like the people were like, "Oh, I only watch him on the league because he survived 9/11." Like it's just, and he just kept telling. Like I remember, I saw a full coverage of this, and it went through. He told his story like dozens of times for years and years and years. Yeah, he was like, I was at Merrill Lynch's offices on the 54th floor. I was there when the first tower got hit and we were jostled all over the place. He fled New York to pursue a career as an entertainer in Los Angeles. That's crazy. That is crazy. I guess he was in New York, but he just wasn't at the Trade Center. That is crazy. Bro is just zooted. Dude, that actually, as a comedian, the best possible way he could have responded to this terrible lie would have been to say, bro, I was high out of my mind. Yeah, I was just fucking around. I was so high. Like, you might have got some laughs about that, but when you're like, hey, I don't think that's funny. Can you tell the 9/11 story where you were celebrating about your school day off with your friend and your dad got so mad? I mean, you just told the story. You just told it in your question. What else do you want me to say? That is the story. I was a kid. It was 9/11. We got the school day off. I didn't understand the implications. So me and my little brother actually jumped around and celebrated. And then my dad saw us celebrating in the yard on the day of 9/11, and he got the maddest I ever seen in my whole life. He got the maddest I ever seen in my whole life. Oh my goodness. How old were you? 9, 10, something like that. 91 born, 2001 is 9/11. I was 48. I was 48. I got held back a lot. And it was a big deal for me to get a day off from school. That's how it went. Jumping for joy over 9/11 is diabolical. It would be, right? But you heard the story, right? So framing it as that I was jumping for joy over 9/11 is incorrect. You heard the story. So I explained why. So don't just say I didn't listen and then Trump was jumping for joy now. Dude, it's crazy. He wasn't jumping for joy, but there is a phone call from Trump to the news on 9/11 where he was talking about how some real estate's going to have better views. He was like, this tower's going to have incredible views now. Yeah, it's a real fucking thing. He's like, oh, this is a terrible event. This is a terrible event. But man, some of the views are going to, it was crazy. Or yeah, my building's the tallest now. That shit was crazy. Favorite Harry Potter plot hole? There is none. You fucking dweeb. It's the perfect story told by the perfect woman. There's no flaws, okay? Don't you dare come in here and try to imply anything to the otherwise. The time turner makes perfect sense. The luck serum makes perfect sense. As to why they never use it or bring it up again, any other stories, you have to read closely to understand that, and you clearly didn't. Quidditch makes total sense. What a brilliantly designed game. Where was Harry Potter during 9/11? Bro, probably opening some chocolate fucking frogs, bro. He did not care. But that's just standard British behavior, bro. He was 4. I want you to know, every Zoomer who was born before 2001, and every millennial too, I still blame you. You still could have done something to stop it. Okay? If you were in America, you should have stopped it. Being 2 years old is not an excuse. So you too? No, I was in Germany. Couldn't have done it. Couldn't have done anything. Distance. Distance is the problem. You should have, and I also, while you were there, you should have bought some property. That's just a smart investor move. It's kind of insane that you guys had the ability to buy housing at 2001 prices, and instead you said, no, I'll get really into fucking iCarly or something. Like, it's like not, like, you made the wrong choices with your youth. You could have invested into NVIDIA, actually, although it would have been pretty flat for about 20 years. What? Oh, thanks for the gifties, Pope John Paul III. I knew I had fans in the religious community. He said, the big guy upstairs ain't fucking with Trump. I promise you that. Thanks, Pope John Paul III. You've broken some new ground for me. When did NVIDIA go public? NVIDIA went public in 2001, right after Enron imploded in a giant fraud and was delisted. They replaced Enron on the stock exchange with NVIDIA. A little quirk of history. Is the date actually correct? Yes. Here's the problem with me doing a lot of sarcastic jokes is that people here that can't tell the difference think my real shit is also sarcastic. Like, instead of learning how to detect sarcasm by context clues, some of you guys just go either it's always sarcastic or it's never. You never, like, you're not getting any better at it. You just try to do a shortcut. I'm not /essing. It's your fault, you piece of shit. Whoa. 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 Okay. Oh, across the line. Whoa. Whoa. I thought we had a good vibe. Jeez Louise. Whoa. I thought we were bantering. Relax. Relax. I thought we were all on the same side here. I thought it was me in the chat against the world, bro. How are y'all doing? How's everybody doing? We're going to talk about the OpenAI Pentagon Claude stuff today. I got a little presentation to give you the full details and all of that, but I also am down to talk about a lot of other things. Obviously, we talk more about the war in Iran, which is just a fustercluck one day in, but I kind of wanted to do a little bit of a deeper dive. The big questions for me are munitions. We're burning through a lot of our stockpiles. My understanding is we only have enough to last, a matter of few weeks, not longer than that. A big question is they seem to be really wanting regime change, but in human history, there's never been a regime change entirely by air power, and they're not planning on putting troops in the ground. So what if this just hardens the regime, damages the country, but there's real consequences there. And if that is the case, are they going to say yes to troops in the ground? And then it'll be like, well, just a few. That's a big fucking red line. Third thing is political fallback. There's already fucking Matt Walsh, who's like a diehard Trump guy, podcaster or something, had a very viral thread talking about how this fucking sucks. How this is like not anything what he signed up for as a Trump voter. In a way, it is what you signed up for if you look closer at the signs. But I don't think this is politically popular. I don't. This is, I saw early polling on American reactions to this strike in Iran. It's pretty bad, pretty horrible, even from Republican side. And so, if that continues to be the case, will Trump taco quicker than he was explaining to? And can you, once you strike a country and now they're striking back at every other power in the Middle East and putting the whole region into chaos, can you really back out without? There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions. Ayatollah got smoked, so they should back out. You say that. I think that's what Trump wanted to do, and I'm not just saying that speculative. There was the report was that after the Ayatollah was killed on day one, Trump immediately tried to get like a negotiation for like a ceasefire because then he could possibly pull a Venezuela type thing where it's like, we did it. And Iran said no negotiations. And then they started firing missiles at everybody all around the Middle East. And so it seems like this is spiraling. I think this was very poorly planned and will be more chaotic than anyone ever imagined, is my honest assessment currently right now. But I still want to read more about it. Why does Iran behave differently than Venezuela? Well, I mean, on a very simple level, a very first principles thing is that in Venezuela, they had a second in command they were in contact with who was willing to step up afterwards and lead the country and transfer of power. So they kidnap Maduro. They negotiate directly with Delcy Rodriguez. She runs the country. So there's some level of stability. I'm not pro the Maduro thing either, but I mean, that was a plan that had a simple course of action and a plan afterwards. In this case, Trump himself said all the people that would step up, they killed. So they killed Ayatollah and then they killed like the next 5 people they even knew how to talk to. So now they have no idea who's running it. There's no channels to discuss. So I think it's headed towards chaos, and chaos is horrible. But we'll see. It is early on, but I swear to God, I think American patience, even I'm talking about only from Republicans, not even from people who already don't like Trump, but from Republicans, I think American patience seems to me like it's already wearing thin 2 days in. Like I'm already seeing them break ranks 2 days in. He's talking about 5 weeks as his timeline. 5 weeks in, we're still talking about missiles and lives in Iran. I think it's going to be politically disastrous, and I don't think it's going to take. I think it could be longer, unless they just completely pull out and try to fucking. The Iranian government's been preparing this for a long time. Listen, I don't want to mislead that the Iranian government is well prepared here. I think listen, their entire leadership got fucking cremated in one day, and they've lost air superiority in 5 minutes. Like it's just that without boots on the ground, you can't regime change. And it's just not it just doesn't seem very thought through. Tehran is surrounded on all sides by mountains. The land invasion will take over. We're just not. It doesn't. There could be a treadmill that helps you. One of those airport walkways. There could be no mountains, and it could push you towards the Tehran. It doesn't matter. Like if there's a land invasion, it would be absolutely political chaos. Like, do you understand? Like that's not. It's a country of 90 million, bigger than the Midwest. Like it's the idea that we would have a occupying force. Even the most even the most like fucking die hard, all in for the administration American is coping a bit by being like, well, this isn't Iraq. This is Iran. We're not doing the forever wars. We're doing it smart. We're doing it from the air. If there's fucking boots in the ground, I swear to God, it's no one. It's just going to be the most unpopular thing. And already is pretty popular. Al Jazeera reported a 24-hour cost of $779 million from the U.S. Well, good thing we got money to burn, huh? We are a country that has a massive budget surplus. So we've saved up for this day. That's tariff money, baby. We've got savings that can afford, we have low debt, high savings. And so we're ready to take a flyer on some ideas like this. We don't have to be careful with the foreign excursions we have because the home front is secure, okay? The thing about it is, like, it would be crazy to do something like this if back at home people were feeling the pinch economically and like grocery prices were rising and healthcare was poor and like that would be like, oh shit, why are we spending the money? But back home it's great. In America it's fucking everything's cheap. The job market is awesome, all green. The stock market and real estate markets are equitably distributed, so everybody feels like they have a piece of ownership. So it's like, what, it's like, okay, we can afford to have a little bit of fucking experimenting in Iran. Does the Strait of Hormuz affect Japan? Just to be clear, 1/5 of the world's oil supply goes to the Strait of Hormuz. It affects everybody, including people in America. Our gas prices will go up, but it most directly impacts Asian countries because that's where that route goes the most. So yes, it will affect Japan. I think our gas prices went up in day one, maybe, I don't know, 10, 20 cents. But they've gone up in Europe even more. They've gone up, and that's only from day one. Like give it 5 weeks. If the Strait of Hormuz is closed for more than, I don't even want to say, but it could get, if oil gets over like $100 a barrel with a true closing of the Strait of Hormuz, we will see some fucking crazy shit happen. Russia stonks. Yeah, I do think, it's good and bad. I think Russia has proven to be a very poor ally, especially in the Middle East. Like they've proven to have absolutely nobody's back, and the stuff they sell you is useless. And so it's like on some level, Russia's like been maybe geopolitically hurt, and they did source all their drones, or a huge part of their drones, the Shahed drones, Shahed from Iran. So they are hurt in some ways, but all of that would be outweighed by a huge spike in oil prices because Russia funds its entire war effort off of oil money. So if oil prices spike, Russia will make absolute bank. Why does it look like China's doing absolutely nothing? Because they are doing absolutely nothing. China's doing absolutely nothing, and that is their strategy. And I won't say I know 100%, but it feels like it's working. That is what they're doing. They are doing absolutely nothing. I want you to imagine something. This is an extreme example and doesn't really apply, but just let me get, it's a thought experiment. Imagine you are in a limo, okay? You, chat, you're rich and you're in a limo and you're on your way to a party. and you are feeling fucking good and you're in your nice suit, okay? And you're just fucking chilling. And you roll down the window of your limo and you're looking out and you're looking at the city. And then there's a homeless guy out there and he's got a switchblade. And he yells, "Hey, piece of shit, come fight me." Okay? And then I go, "Wow, you're not even going to go out there and fight him, you fucking coward." Okay? But the smart thing to do is just drive on by, because the only way you lose that situation is by getting out and getting in a fist fight with the guy with the switchblade. Do you understand? Now, in this case, I'm exaggerating because America is a wealthier country. But the way China sees it, just being realistic, and this is not even just my interpretation. I think there was, I'm reading on this. This was China insiders. There's like Politburo people that have written them. Anyway, the idea is that like they just got to wait. If they just waited out, the compounding effects of manufacturing rare earth and robotics are going to be more of a strategic win than getting into a military conflict with the military power. Like, by the way, one thing that I've had to adjust my priors on is that post 2020, but especially this Venezuela and this Iran stuff, the tech that the American military has is really good. It's really good. It's world-class, cutting edge. Obviously, I knew it was cutting edge. I would go to a military basis, but like, it really is a step above everyone except for maybe China. That's it. That's it. No one else is close. It's like a huge leap. And so there's just no reason. China has no reason to fight on that front. That's like, wow, that's like the one way they could take an L. Why did the stock market go down today? I said that on the weekend. I said stock market won't go down. Stock market has shrugged off so much stuff the past year. It's not going to go down until if the Strait of Hormuz is truly closed for a period of time, that would hurt stocks. Outside of that, everyone's just kind of, the stock market just goes la 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 la. I'm not listening to anything. All risks have been shrugged off. Did you hear about Hollywood superstar Melania chairing the UN Security Council? Awesome. Awesome. I can't believe she does it all. Star of an amazingly hit movie, Melania. I should have mentioned that to Markiplier. His movie beat Melania at the box office and they were launching on the same day. Who would win? The president's wife with a $90 million backing from Amazon and a bribe? Or a YouTuber in his garage? Markiplier about to get tariffed. U.S. government is instituting a 200% tariff on Markiplier's videos immediately. All of his ad money goes to Melania, all his views. Thoughts on Occupy Wall Street? Did you just wake up from a coma from 2008? Why the fuck are you asking me about Occupy Wall Street in 2026? Are you on a Nokia fucking phone? Are you on a BlackBerry? What the hell? How is that even close to relevant now? Lag? Bro, I was watching on an Engage mobile viewer, bro. Bro, on 2000 ping. Dude, I was just thinking today. Anyone else miss LAN parties? Anyone old enough to have their hips hurt miss LAN parties? LAN parties were awesome. God, what happened, dude? It was a big part of the culture. Damn. By the way, they still have. I'm not saying they're 100% dead, but like even modern LAN party goers have to admit, like it's become a thing you kind of do out of, I don't know, you set it up and it's nostalgia. But LAN parties back in the day were like, you could just get that shit going. It was often. And it felt better when it served a purpose because you couldn't just do it at home. Like right now, you go to a LAN party and everyone just plays. They don't play on LAN. You know, they play the games they play with each other at home, but just close, which is fun. But like a LAN party was extra cool because it was like games that was like you got a real experience of super high refresh rate multiplayer gaming with instant ping, 0 ping, that you could never get. It was way different than your home experience. Atrioc just likes a screen peek. Dude, one of my favorite LAN party memories. So there was a group of kids. This is like high school, early high school, maybe freshman year of high school. There was a group of guys who were into Warcraft 3 and the Frozen Throne, like the RTS game. And they were pretty good. They were pretty good. And one of them, so I used to do this thing called the 3-day challenge, where I'm a fucking loser. I was like, I'll beat you at your favorite game if you give me 3 days. And what I would do, I would just not do any homework. I would not do any fucking class. I would not do no shower, no bath. I would just fucking grind their game. I would just grind their game. I would learn one cheese strategy. And then at the end of 3 days, I would beat them. And it was fucking badass. It was really fun. And so anyway, I got pretty good at Warcraft 3 and I won my 3-day challenge. But there was a guy who, that didn't challenge me, but he was way better. He was the best player of the group. He didn't challenge me, but he was better. And I couldn't beat him. And so I kept practicing, kept grinding. Anyway, at this LAN party this one time, this guy challenges our friend who's like bad. Like barely plays. Like is just kind of like there for fun. I don't know why. I don't know why they ended up having like a beef battle or whatever. So they're playing one-on-one, but their computers are in different rooms. One's in the kitchen, one's in the living room. And there's like tables and computers everywhere, but they can't actually see each other. And so I tapped the guy on the shoulder. I'm like, let me play. Because we know he's going to lose. Everyone knows he's going to lose. So he gets up and I get to play for him on his computer. And anyway, the other guy starts off going kind of easy, which is what I need. Because I don't think I'm as good as the other guy, but I was kind of close. But he starts off going kind of easy. I abuse that. I'm going crazy. And finally, I win. The long story short is I win the game. And I could hear him in the other room, and he comes out, and then I get up. And then right as I win, I stand up. I put the other guy back in the seat. The other guy comes out of the room. His face is so fucking crestfallen. And everybody else acts like this guy just had the almost miracle upset. Like he just, and this kind of like internal ranking mattered, like, because we were all a bunch of gaming losers. And so he comes out his face and he's like, oh man, you got me. Damn. That was, it was so good. And then the guy that I played for leans into it, bro. He starts talking shit. He starts going, yeah, bro, you didn't expect me to do that. Didn't expect me to have that. Bro, relax. Did you ever tell the guy? Yeah, we told him later. But he was crestfallen. He definitely had the wind out of his sails. So it's a funny memory. Was he believable? Yeah, I mean, I don't think he We had to tell him the actual truth later. Are you going to cover the Red Bull AOE 2 tournament happening next month? Dude, they reached out to me. I was thinking about going to London, to jolly old London. Any Atrioc viewers in the UK want to do a meetup in London? Raise your hand. Hera's in chat. Hera, if I go, be honest with me. You're like the only person I'm going to know there. That's embarrassing. Hera, you're the only person. Are the AoE people going to be like, they're not going to want to eat dinner with me? I'm going to show up and then like fucking, why am I forgetting everybody? I'm forgetting everybody's name. Mr. Yo. Mr. Yo's going to be like, don't let this guy eat with us. He's only 1,500. Viper's going to be like, who the fuck is this guy? He's only 1,500, bro. He can't hang out with us. Like, I'm going to go out there. Mr. Yo wouldn't give a fuck about you, LMAO, but everybody else would. All right, well, I'm thinking about it. Play against Grubby. Grubby, rank check. Where's he at? Grubby, AoE 2. Grubby, rank check. What the fuck? Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Look at his fucking rank is vertical. Bro, he's 1563. Oh my God. Wait, I can't. He's 1563. Holy. No, wait, he's 1464. Trash! Trash, dude. I'm sorry. Trash. It's yuck. Ugh. Aura loss. Dude, you lost to Fentanyl Floyd? I crushed that guy on my way up the ladder to 1,500, where I've certainly maintained my skill. Yikes, dude. 3 losses in a row. Washed. Fucking washed, bro. I'm sorry to say it. Is he Ethiopians only? Hera, you're in chat. If you had to rank Ethiopians versus Vikings, which one do you think is a higher tier civ? Someone said careful. I don't mean in real life. I don't mean rank Ethiopians versus Vikings on their racial period. I mean, which one do you think is a stronger civilization in Age of Empires 2? Okay? You guys are fucking wild, bro. You guys are wild. In Age of Empires 2, which one is a better civ? Vikings, more impressive to be good at. There it is, folks. And there it is. I'm sorry, but there it is. And yeah, by the way, I knew the answer to that question before I asked it. I just wanted Hera to say it. Okay? I knew the answer to that question before I say it. Ethiopians, the top tier civ. Easy clap. Vikings, that's a fucking man civ. Because I'm playing on maps without any water. Would you go if Hera agrees to play Vikings at the event? It depends on other things that I go or not, but I do want to go. I think it'd be really fun. Could you explain that in Bloons terms? It's like I win with Quincy and he's winning with like Benjamin boosting Banks. You know what I'm saying? It's like not. You should cover the event with the clean feed. If you don't go, it should be hype as fuck. Yeah, I probably will. I probably will. Jaffiel. Anyway, It's going to be awesome. If you're not an Age of Empires guy, just wait. We had a big video coming out before this event that'll explain why it's such a fucking hype game. And I think after you watch that, you're going to want to watch the tournament. Way too average. Think of the 59 months. Tony, H28, think of the 26. Iceberg, thank you for the 8 months. Big Badoof, thank you for the prime. That's a good name. I love Renata Glask. Thank you for the thing. Genuine question. Do you believe your average American is aware and informed of Iran? Seems like your local Jill from Starbucks or John from Home Depot don't follow or care. First of all, don't gender Starbucks and Home Depot. Okay, they could. My wife shops at Home Depot. She's more of a handyman than me. But your actual question is, yeah, plenty of people don't care, but it is known. Most people would be able to tell you that we're at, no, I don't know about most. Probably most would be able to tell you where that ran. They don't know anything about it, but it hits social media. People know. They don't. It's very surface deep, but they do know. I recommended my dad your clips, and now he's so locked in, he watches them before I even notice they are up. Dude. Oh, story. Wait, story. I met Aiden's dad on the basketball court. Aiden's dad. He was in town for like a day or two. And he came by to watch Aiden play basketball. And I got to meet him, and we talked for a while. And he's a big lemonade stand viewer, and he's a bit of a conservative. And he wanted to he genuinely was like, we should get dinner so I can debate you. But he's not MAGA. First of all, he's Canadian. He doesn't give a fuck about, he's not really a Trump guy. You know what I'm saying? He's like a Harper guy, if you know your Canadian politicians. He's like a Romney guy would barely be. He's a Romney guy. And I could definitely talk to him because I think there's some common ground we could have, especially around deficit and debt. But what's funny is him and Aiden have all these conversations all the time. Like Aiden's really close with his dad, and they talk about everything that's on the pod all the time. So they're always having, and Aiden was like, happy that I was getting in the fray. He was a super nice guy, by the way, a very super nice guy. I really enjoyed yapping with him, but then I did play basketball. Yeah, friendly debates fire. It was cool, and he's out there cheering and supporting his son. So. Yeah, I think a good man. Did he school you in b-ball? He didn't play, unfortunately. But it was fun to hang out with him. Your raid of librarian the other night resulted in him talking about regrowing foreskin for 2 hours. You think my raid resulted in that and not librarian's cooked brain? You think librarian was about to have a normal stream talking about normal shit and then my raid veered him off course? No, bro. No, bro. It's not butterfly effect. He was going to do that shit. It was probably going to be wilder. And then I put a bunch of eyeballs on it and he went to his less risky option, foreskin regrowing. He probably had a 10 times more deranged stream topic plan and he had to go to the safe card, foreskin regrowing. So please, you should thank me. Honestly, you should thank me. I watched the Guyana video. My great grandfather was their speaker of the National Assembly for the British lost control. Damn, that's crazy. That's cool. Hope you enjoyed it. The video, I mean. You know what's cool is I've been getting people reaching out with all sorts of interesting real life knowledge or connections or whatever. Like because of the big A clips, if I talk about something, I often get like an inside source about to tell me some more shit. You know, I had a really, really great combo with somebody who works in private equity last time I talked about it, and they walked me through some real interesting shit that I would love to put into a video. But we've been getting some more people reaching out, which is just really cool. And then today, Doug and I did an offline interview, just for the fucking hell of it, with a German PhD guy that works at I can't say where he works, I guess, but and because we're reading the book Kaput and we're talking about it in the book club, and he's just talking about his experience. Like, this is what it's like trying to start a business in Germany. Here's the good parts. Here's the bad parts. Here's what I think is good about the book. Here's the thing about it. Was just sick. It was awesome. No Aiden. It was me, Doug, and Gavin Newsom, I think, and we just interviewed this German guy. Obviously, we don't bring our guest Aiden to every fucking offline interview. Oh, and then we also interviewed, I don't know if you guys know this guy, Scott Galloway. We interviewed Scott Galloway for the pod on Wednesday. It's not a full episode. It's like a small chunk of the episode, but we did interview him. He did say, the episode opened by me saying, hey, Scott Galloway, I was like, during COVID, I wanted to move up the ranks at NVIDIA. So I took your course on brand strategy, and now I'm a podcaster. So you didn't really help me. That's how I opened. And then he said, oh, wow, leaving NVIDIA. You're a real smart guy. They haven't done well. So it was a good opener. I thought it was like a kind of a fire. I thought it was honestly, I had a good time. You got everyone saying cooked. I don't know if I was cooked. I certainly didn't get frame mogged. I wouldn't say I got frame mogged, nor I got cooked. By the way, I got all my shares. Just so we're clear, I got all 5 years of shares, so I don't think it was like a big, what? He did get my cortisol high off that though, for sure. Dude, people keep saying this. People keep coming in and talking like I got fucking hairline. I got the Elon Musk, which is an incredible compliment because I have done nothing and I still want to do that. To be clear, my hairline is as high as it's ever been in my whole life and getting worse. I do shampoo and some hair comes out. So the idea that you think it's getting better is actually a really compliment. What I do think is I'm getting tan. I think that's it. I think the only difference in my appearance people keep talking about, they're pointing at whatever. I'm just tan because I've been outside playing basketball a lot in the sun. That's my biggest difference. I am legitimately out in the sun playing basketball for multiple hours on a lot of days a week, which is pretty fun. Wear sunscreen? Thanks, Mom. You gonna look like leather, Unk? Is there no action I could take for my health that you won't try to twist into a bad thing? Like, if I didn't do this, you'd be like, wow, looking fucking pale. You gamer boy. Looking fucking... And then if I do go outside and, like, touch grass and play, it's like, oh, wow, you're gonna look like fucking leather. It's like, what? There's no winning. I feel like you backed me into a corner. Spray tan only solution. You think chat wouldn't make fun of a spray tan? If I didn't go outside at all, but I got a spray tan and I showed up fucking, you think that one they'd be like, oh, hey, looking good. Nice choice. Smart of you to avoid skin cancer with the spray tan. I don't. No, I don't think. I don't trust you guys. No, I don't trust you. I don't think that's the way it would go. If I'm keeping it a buck. Spray tan one side. I get just the left side of my face spray tanned. And I give a presentation like this, and then I do a Trump impression on this side. Folks! Wait, that'd be kind of hype. I could be like a two-face. Trump face. Wait, that sounds like a really smart idea to like give me some credibility. Because right now I feel like all this presentation shit I'm doing is like, it's too goofy. But if I were to do something serious like that, people are like, oh, this guy's a serious commentator. He's got really intelligent ideas. Yeah, it's nerd shit. Be careful if you spray too much, you'll Justin Trudeau it. That's one area I had to agree with Aiden's dad. When I was talking to Aiden's dad, I was like, hey, listen, we can handshake on this. Fuck Trudeau. I ain't coming to the defense of fucking Trudeau, bro. Well, there's always a common ground, you know. You can always find a common ground. That's a reach across the aisle. Small A, off topic, but does a weaker dollar help Netflix with currency conversions? Legitimately, who cares? What a small scale. Who cares? Whether or not the dollar affects Netflix's personal currency conversions is such a minor detail. What is there's a homework assignment? Who would possibly be interested in that specific question? That's such a strange question. But like, for what purpose, Los Omar? Like, why are you trying to invest in Netflix? Do you think you have some alpha because a weaker dollar might, like that? It's such a non-factor to the performance of Netflix and their stock. Like, it's not going to be, I don't know. That's just funny. He's head of accounting for Netflix. I mean, yeah, it might have some minor swings. Like you said, they're a totally global company. I don't think it's like a major impact, but I just think that's a crazy question. I just, like you couldn't like long or short Netflix based on currency ideas. You know what I'm saying? So what's the takeaway? Even if I knew the future and told you the exact answer, it wouldn't translate to their stock in any meaningful way. So there's no, you would just trade directly on Forex if anyway, whatever. Do you think, have you got any thoughts on the Citrini Substack into the AI shopping? Yeah, I saw that. It was kind of interesting. If you guys don't know, there was this viral article by this macro researcher, I don't know, what, trader, fucking Twitter poster, Citrini Research. And they talked about a vision of the future looking back from 2029 about how AI disrupted things. The long and short of it is, they talk about very specific stocks that AI might disrupt and how that would lead to white collar unemployment, which leads to less consumer spending, which leads to kind of a doom loop. And that as the economy downturns, more companies turn to AI to reduce costs, which continues the loop. It's not like a horrendous thesis, but it is, a bit of LARPing. It's a bit of like fan fiction. And the way it was written caused people to freak out. And like every stock that was named in the thing dumped the next day. Thanks for the gifties, Ender Much Insane guy. So I think the takeaway is not that this guy's right or wrong. It's that people are so on edge. People are eager for a reason to sell. They're not selling en masse. The stock market's kind of flat, but they're looking for a reason. Like anytime they hear AI, they sell and move to something else. People are like, because valuations are so stretched, people are like looking for a reason to take profits. Will AI hurt sports gambling with people being able to eventually find the best odds? Not in any short-term way that I see AI used. ChatGPT can't give you a correct sports bet if that's what you're wondering. It can't. It's not gonna make you money. So, I don't think that's a. Screw it, I'll try it right now. Well, that's the opposite effect that I wanted. Random question. How often, if at all, do you read 10Ks? Not often. I just listen to earnings calls, but I don't read 10Ks. Sorry for bringing it up if you plan on talking about it today, but if you see France talk about its expand. Oh, yeah, I did see this. Yeah, France, the nuclear goat of Europe, suddenly becomes very important because a lot of Europe doesn't have nukes. And we're in a world where you kind of want nukes. And so France is talking about, hey, everybody get under my nuclear umbrella. What that means in practice is somewhat questionable because, there's just a difference between having your own nuke and being under someone else's nuclear umbrella, which is that if push came to shove, would that country start nuclear war for you? Would they risk their own capitals getting nuked? You know what I'm saying? Like it does change things no matter how tight you or whatever you sign. But we're still we shouldn't, no nuke should be fired because that's probably the end of the world. Realistically, if any major power fires a nuke on anyone, it's probably the end of the world. We'll just settle it and smash. Yeah. We'll settle it and smash. Did you hear about the developments in the Pentagon AI stuff? Hadish wants me to make the clip. Holy shit, it's 8 o'clock. Oh my God, I've been yapping. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe it, but there's been so many developments since we last covered. Usually I don't go back to a story so quickly, but there have been some major developments since we last covered this breaking news story. So, a few days ago, we made a video covering the showdown between Pete Hegseth, the Pentagon, Claude, and Dario Amodei, okay? Over how and for what purposes their AI could be used in war and in combat and by the Pentagon. And the Pentagon cracked down and threw down the hammer, and we ended up with this showdown. Now, a little refresher if you don't remember that video. The main dispute was they wanted Claude, which is Dario's AI, to be able to be used for all purposes, whatever the military wanted. And Dario Amodei here said, we have two red lines. We have two things we will not allow our product to be used for. Number one, autonomous weapons. You have to have a human involved. You can still have a Claude-controlled drone, but a human has to press the button. Otherwise, there's no human responsibility of the kill. Okay? And the second thing was domestic surveillance, which is basically that, you could set up cameras and recording devices in every public space in America and use AI to collate all the data, and it would technically be legal, but it would be a mockery of the Constitution and be mass surveillance of American citizens. So they said, we won't allow our product to be used for that. These are the only two things. These are the only two red lines. And so the Pentagon set a deadline for Friday to abandon these red lines, or they're going to be hell to pay. And on Thursday, Dario said, we are not abandoning it. We're standing by our principles, come what may. And that's where our last video stopped. A lot has happened since then, and I want to catch you up. So here's what happened next after Thursday. Okay? Now, late night after our video on Thursday, enter in a new character other than just Pete and Dario. Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, showed up like an angel. Sam Altman showed up on Thursday and said, you know what? This fighting has gotten out of hand. And OpenAI, as the biggest AI company out there, we're going to join Anthropic, our friends, and share their red lines. Okay? No domestic surveillance, no autonomous kills. We're joining them. That's what they said on Thursday. And OpenAI employees were behind this move. Again, that's what I thought he was responding to. OpenAI employees were signing letters in solidarity with Anthropic. There was a sense that all of these AI companies were coming together to stand up to the Pentagon, to not be bullied into doing something that they didn't want to do, which is these two things. Okay? And Sam Altman himself said, my goal is to de-escalate the tension with the Pentagon. Okay? So by end of Thursday, things were looking pretty solid. All the AI companies were coming together. On Friday, the deadline is hit, the red line that the Pentagon set. And the second it ticks over, Trump posts this. The United States of America will never allow a radical left woke company to dictate how our great military fights and wins wars. The left-wing nut jobs at Anthropic have made a disastrous mistake. I'm directing every federal agency to cease use of all Anthropic's technology. There'll be a 6-month phase-out period. They better get their act together, or I will use the full power of the presidency to make them comply, with major civil and criminal consequences to follow. Basically, he said, we're going to throw the absolute book at them. We're going to use the American government to destroy this private company for not doing what we say. Not just not do the deal with them. Because again, at the end of the day, the Pentagon could just cancel their contract and go to somewhere else. But they're actually actively punishing them, making an example out of them. We're going to destroy them. We're going to use the Defense Production Act. We're going to use a blocking of their supply chain. So they're going to be destroyed as a company. Pete Hegseth followed right after and said the same thing. Anthropic has delivered a master class in arrogance and betrayal. We want full, unrestricted access to Anthropic's models. And I'm directing them to declare them a supply chain risk to national security. Effective immediately, no contractor, no supplier, no partner that does business with the United States military can conduct any commercial activity with Anthropic. Now, you have to understand how wide-ranging that is, because almost every business in America and many businesses outside of America do some type of business with the U.S. military. For example, Amazon, Google, every major tech company, they all do something. There is some connection. And the idea says, if you have any connection at all to us, you can't work with Anthropic at all. Now, the immediate reaction is that means Amazon and Google, who are part owners of Anthropic, have to divest. They can't be involved, even though they invested from the beginning of the company, because they work with the government. So it's like an incredible, I mean, again, this has never been done in an American company. It's an extreme, I would say, abuse of government power to punish a dissenter, to try and destroy them economically for speaking out and not agreeing with you. Again, this is, it's attempted corporate murder. And the second order effects are, and this has happened, like this has happened in other countries that ostensibly had a more authoritarian regime. Like in China, back around 21 or 22, they did a crackdown on private tutoring companies and they just destroyed them overnight. And it led to this big chill for a few years where foreign investment in China dropped a lot because people were scared that they put money in, the government just destroys it. And so America is now doing the exact same thing on a much bigger company that had been working collectively with the Pentagon for a while. So again, second order effect's pretty bad. But this is early Friday. 4 hours later, after this tweet, Sam Altman, who had been, remember the same red lines, I'm an ally, I'm on your side. 4 hours after this tweet, Sam Altman swoops in, suit on, smug grin, and strikes a deal with the Pentagon. Hours after the blacklist. Trump administration shuns Anthropic, embraces OpenAI in clash over guardrails. Sam Altman announces it with a tweet where he says, tonight we have reached an agreement with the Department of War. The Department of War displayed a deep respect for safety in all our interactions. AI safety is the core of our mission. Two of our most important safety principles are prohibitions on domestic mass surveillance and human responsibility for the use of force. So Sam Altman is trying to have his cake and eat it too. He is trying to say, I have the exact same red lines that got Anthropic thrown out as I'm signing a deal with the Pentagon. It doesn't make sense. People are rightfully confused. How can that possibly be true? These are the exact two things that got Anthropic thrown out. How do you agree with them and that you're signing a deal? And the memes were very funny. A lot of people roasted this post on social media. Hey, did you accidentally bomb Iraq instead of Iran? You're absolutely right. Good catch. But the memes got even funnier. I mean, this betrayal was pretty core. People started photoshopping, or I guess AI generating, Sam Altman's face on every great betrayer in movie history. There was this. There was this. There was this. I mean, shit was cracking me up. Everyone was just roasting because it didn't make sense. It was obviously some kind of mislead. And at the same time, as Pete Hegseth is cracking down on Anthropic, they are responding and saying, hey, listen, we're going to hold strong to our beliefs. We don't believe today's models are reliable enough to be used in fully autonomous weapons. It would endanger civilians. And we believe that mass surveillance constitutes a violation of fundamental rights. No amount of intimidation or punishment will change our position. We will challenge any supply chain risk designation in court. And they did do that. So immediately afterwards, they countersue the Trump administration to try and fight back against the designation as a supply chain risk, because they're going to stick to their guns and hope they can win out both in the public eye and in the courts. That's Friday. That's just the day of the crackdown. By the weekend, people are starting to really think about what just happened. Questions start to arise like, how the hell did Sam Altman keep the same red lines but still sign a deal with the Pentagon? And that's when the truth starts to emerge that of course he didn't. Of course he did not. As they start to get leaks and a peek at the contract that was signed with the Pentagon, it in no way holds up these red lines. It's paper thin. It's got many loopholes. And people all over, especially on the internet, but even in person, start to get angry about this. In front of OpenAI's headquarters in San Francisco, people start doing massive chalk drawings saying, take a stand for civil liberty. As an AI assistant, I cannot help with creating autonomous weapons. Show the contract. Again, there's 1,000. I mean, they're all over. And then the street cleaners came out and washed them all up. And then overnight, everyone put them back. It was pretty crazy. Like there's this huge movement to like every employee walking in the building has to walk past all this stuff. Okay. And, you know, details of the contract start to come out. And it's like OpenAI's deal is provably much softer than the one Anthropic was pushing for. If you look line by line at the terms, every aspect of it boils down to if it's technically legal, then the US military can use OpenAI's technology to carry it out, which basically means, okay, the Department of War has to follow its own policy. That's what the OpenAI contract says. It says, hey, we support no autonomous weapons and no surveillance, and you should follow your policy and do the same thing. But the Department of War, which has policies similar to this, can just change their own policies whenever they want. Under Anthropic's rules, they could just not do it because Claude would just not allow their technology to be used for that. But under OpenAI's rules, it's like, you can't do it unless you say you can. And they give a specific example. It's like in the contract, it's like Department of Defense has a directive 3000.09, which has rules on how autonomous systems can be tested. But in theory, Pete Hegseth could change that tomorrow. And then the contract would have no qualms about it for OpenAI. So obviously, people, as these details come out, are angrier and angrier with OpenAI and Sam Altman. And again, posters start to go up around their building. OpenAI employees, will you spy on your neighbors? OpenAI, can America trust you? Will you stand up for Americans? People start getting angry about it. Even Sam Altman starts to note the optics don't look good. Wait, I'll put it over here. The optics don't look good. He did an AMA on Twitter that was one of the most ratioed AMAs I've ever seen, where he's talking about this, and people are furious. Of course the optics don't look good. You backstabbed somebody you said you were on the same side of, signed a deal immediately with the Pentagon. Of course it doesn't look good. People aren't comfortable with mass surveillance and autonomous drones, of course. And so a crazy thing starts to happen that nobody expected. It actually starts to have a material impact on the performance of the businesses. Out of nowhere, from a much lower ranking, Claude hits #1 on the App Store. It's never done this. It passes ChatGPT and becomes #1. Users start checking it out. Now, I want to tell you how crazy this is and how important this issue is to Americans to prove this, because Claude spent an absolute gargantuan amount of money on 3 separate Super Bowl ads that barely moved its App Store ranking at all. It went up like 15%. Okay, it barely moved. And then this happened and they skyrocketed to #1. They're above, Gemini, Threads, Temu. That's the worst era of all time. They skyrocketed #1. So it's incredibly powerful word of mouth. And at the same time, it doesn't just stop there. It's not just they win for Claude. Sam Altman's getting spooked because it's a disaster for ChatGPT, where ChatGPT uninstalls surged by 295%. People start uninstalling the app en masse and canceling their subscription. And Claude jumps on this by immediately rolling out an easy way to switch to Claude without losing all your chat history and data and profile. Now, I'm sure ChatGPT will find a way to close this down, but for now, you can get all your stuff over in 2 seconds. And so all of this combines to make a big performance in both apps downloads. And if you are somebody, and I think you should seriously consider this because of the difference in moral clarity from both companies, I think you should seriously consider canceling your ChatGPT. I've done it myself. I have found that the product is generally just worse than Claude. And then on top of that, I don't support the way Sam Altman handled this Pentagon thing. So I canceled my ChatGPT. And if you are looking to have an easy way to cancel this and possibly cancel other things and save money, you can check out Rocket Money, today's sponsor. My longest running sponsor, my good friends at Rocket Money. If you haven't checked it out already, what are you doing? Just download it, link your account. It'll show you every single app you're subscribed to that you're getting a recurring charge from, and you can one-click cancel them from the app. You will find money to save. It's an incredible way to find money to save. I just use it to cancel over $200 of subscriptions because I have a million news article things that I don't even use anymore. And for me, it's an incredibly useful app. All this part of usage is actually free. There is an extra paid version that can use to negotiate down power bills and things like that. But this part can save you money right now, and it's absolutely free. Check it out, rocketmoney.com/Atrioc. Thank you for their longtime support of Marketing Monday, Atrioc channel, and Big A. I really appreciate it. Now, here's the thing. Like I said, I don't even think you're sacrificing by doing this canceling because I literally think the ChatGPT product has been caught up to. I no longer think it has a lead over its competitors. And in fact, I think Claude in many ways performs better, or even Gemini. I think they're both good. And in fact, if PewDiePie can train his own AI to beat ChatGPT, then you don't need a deep customer loyalty. Okay? You can do whatever the hell you want. Don't support this guy making a deal with the Pentagon on 1 second notice on important future of AI safety stuff. Sam Altman has spent today, well, this is February 28th, this is the AMA. He spent today, this is an hour before this stream, backtracking because this has got them scared. Again, understand that every action ChatGPT has been taking recently has been out of desperation for money. They have huge debt, huge commitments, and need to grow revenue. If they have shrinking revenue, it could literally be the end of the company. I'm not exaggerating. They need to show growth consistently. It will be a collapse. If you actually lead to a shrinking revenue chart for ChatGPT, it would literally, you could destroy this company, which could unravel a huge chunk of what's going on in the AI bubble. So there's a lot of power in your action here, and I think you should strongly consider it. Sam Altman has been backtracking hard and is saying we're going to make new additions to our agreement to make our principles very clear. However, my understanding is that this just adds parts to the agreement that makes their principles clear, but it doesn't hold the Pentagon to abide by any of these principles. So it's not a real change. It's just more of like the signaling, like we support this, but it's not actually putting your money where your mouth is and trying to hold the Pentagon to task when you have the technology they need. At the same time, what's interesting is, despite OpenAI, having this deal with the Pentagon, in the past few days, maybe you heard, we had a military engagement in Iran. We're starting war in Iran. The U.S. military struck targets in Iran, and guess what app they were using? Claude. Even after the Pentagon declared them a supply chain risk, they used Claude for the strikes over the weekend. I guess the government prefers it. That's the update. I'll let you know more as we come, but we've caught up to today. Truly an insane series of events. But remember, you have agency in this case, and your dollars count. Make your voice heard. Thanks for watching. All right, cool. Cool. Chrislyn, thank you for the 40 months. Adish, what are you doing clapping? Get editing, bro. Chop. Bro, the footage is done, bro. It's that's funny. I'm glad you reminded me, bro. I was about to yap for another hour. Dude, it's hot in this room. Doesn't the feature to easily transfer data between LLM providers signal a lack of a moat for these companies? Yes, absolutely. As they get closer and closer to parity, not parity, parity, the idea that there's like some entrenched moat for any AI provider is pretty low. And I'm seeing parallels to the dot-com bubble where it's like this technology is going to be transformative and important, but we think all the money is going to go to the AI model providers. And I think it probably won't. Just like they thought all the internet money was going to go to like Cisco and the cable layers. It's like that's not. I think people have misjudged where the actual competitive advantage will be. I think they're going to get commoditized. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, especially if you look at what China's doing with open source models. Like every time there's a new model from Gemini or from Claude or from OpenAI, the Chinese models just ask it questions and use the answers to train their models, which come out a few weeks later and are at parity. And they're free. They just distill all the advancements. Because anything that, any advancement you get in the AI, they can essentially steal it by prompting it. So there's no sustainable advantage, which means like why, you can't infinitely spend hundreds of billions of dollars training if someone can just yoink it. So, so there's a lot of questions about the AI business model. Again, if you're someone who's like AI is dumb and it's going to go away after the bubble burst, you're just wrong. Sorry, I feel bad for you. You can't put the genie back in the bottle, bro. It's going to happen. However, if you're somebody who's like, hey, I think this is a fucking financial mania, people are getting way ahead of their skis. It doesn't make any sense. The amount of revenue they're expecting and what they're promising and the data centers they're trying to build. I think you're right. I think that stuff is, it's gotten absurd. So interesting times, but I think people are sick of living in interesting times. Wouldn't this actually just be Pentagon not sending coverage that there are versions rather than specific rules? Listen, all I can tell you is that the Anthropic proposal was very, very, very specific. It was anything. You can do anything but these two things with our tech. It was a very specific 2 red lines. It wasn't like them trying to get extra control. It wasn't. So I just push back on this narrative the Pentagon is trying to push of like, it's because this woke company wanted to tell us what to do. And I just don't think that's how it played out. I think Anthropic wanted to work with the Pentagon. They had been working with the Pentagon. They wanted the money. All they wanted was no domestic surveillance and no autonomous kills. That's it. Again, Anthropic was founded after Dario split off from OpenAI because he was concerned they didn't care enough about AI safety. That's why it was founded. And I got to be honest with you. If you'd asked me on Wednesday if Anthropic would have caved, I would have said yes, 100%. That's why I'm impressed here. It's very rare for a company to ever do this. The pressure was so immense. They had a good deal with the Pentagon. I would have expected them to cave 100%. So I've been talking about this more than usual because I literally think it's like a rare event that should be celebrated. Like you should probably, if you have the capability, reward this behavior because then it trains corporate leaders to just think, oh, if I do the right thing, it could also be beneficial. It could also be the smart thing. I don't have to blow up my company just to do it. Did the OpenAI's deal with the DoD have the same sort of constraint? I just did a presentation on this, but 4 minutes ago. Did you just join or did you not catch it? Because it's just like, it's very difficult for me because I was very clear on this. You missed it? Okay. It's just like I had like multiple slides on this exact point, and I kind of like broke it down because I figured people would ask it. Um, da, da, da. How cooked is Microsoft for going all in on AI but being behind in every field like he uses Copilot? It's a good question. It's a good question. Copilot sucks so much ass. And Microsoft is losing faith in OpenAI. What I heard is that Microsoft is working on their own foundational model. Because Copilot is based on OpenAI. But I heard Microsoft's trying to make their own competitor to Gemini and OpenAI and Claude. They want to make their own. And it's like, first of all, that's insanely expensive. So now Microsoft is paying OpenAI to make one, and they're also paying to make their own. They're double spending. And there's a chance that both, well, OpenAI is the leader, don't get me wrong. But it's a chance the Microsoft one just flops. I don't know. I don't know. But also, like, Meta has been doing it on their own, and it's also been pretty flopped. And they spend a lot of money. So, mm, what's Meta's AI? Um, what am I blanking? It's Llama. Mm, Amazon trying? Yeah, they're all trying. They're all except for Apple. Except for Apple, dude. Tim Cook has made a very bold bet, which is that hey, everybody else is spending hundreds of billions of dollars trying to out train each other buying data centers. We're just gonna not do that, and we're gonna hope we can pick up the pieces from the ashes. And if he's right, it's gonna be one of the most brilliant business decisions ever. If he's wrong, it could really cook Apple because they'll be fucking super behind in this transformational technology. But Apple is literally the only company just fucking stacking their paper, doing stock buybacks, just fucking juicing their stock and chilling. And they're just hoping that somebody blows up and they buy or they find out that foundational models are cheap and commoditized or whatever. It might end up being a really smart play, is all I'm saying. What's Gemini doing in all this? Gemini's doing pretty well, bro. Google has the advantage that OpenAI doesn't, which Google is a very profitable company with a lot of cash. So they can throw a ton of money into the AI money sink and it doesn't hurt them as much. So they don't have to put ads out. Like ChatGPT has to add ads and all this other crap. Gemini doesn't. They can afford to take a loss on it because they're subsidized by Google. And additionally, Gemini's, this is probably a fucking monopoly advantage that in a better world we'd break up. But Gemini has the advantage of being hooked in to all of the data that Google owns, which is YouTube training data, Gmail, fucking Google search. They own so much of the internet, and all that hooks into Gemini training data, which gives them advantages. Third thing is that Gemini has their own TPUs instead of NVIDIA GPUs. They use both, but they have their own, which allows them to have an advantage on cost. What does TPU stand for? It stands for Toilet Paper University. And it's what a degree from Harvard is worth. Okay. bro, chill with that song. Dude, I can't. I listened to Seven Nation Army yesterday, and it's been stuck in my head for over 24 hours. Fucking pissing me off. Was there some shit I wanted to watch? Damn, bro. Can somebody let a white boy watch YouTube videos? Is that still legal in Trump's America? New Fern vid? Best tweets? I guess we could do best tweets. I wouldn't be super opposed to it. What time is it though? 8:29. We watched Casually Explained already. It was really good. What's the new Fern? Let's just check it out. Fern. How Iran's leader was killed. 1 million views in 6 hours? Let's watch it. Let's watch it. Holy. It's not even that long.
It's roughly 6 a.m. in Israel. A series of fighter jets takes off, armed with long-range, high-precision missiles.
Dude, this is like a thing showing up more and more. You see this? People have to add this because people call everything AI slop. So they have to add this stuff. I see this on YouTube videos more now that I have animations in them where they have to say...
Series of fighter jets.
It's like they have to human wash it.
Takes off, armed with long-range, high-precision missiles. According to CIA and Israeli intelligence, a significant portion of Iran's leadership has gathered.
I mean, this is what I heard, right? That they, like a huge chunk of Iran's leadership all was in the top floor of the same building right at the war start, which I think is pretty unprecedented to have a leader of a conflict die on day one. It was like
that here, in a compound in Tehran. Among them, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
They should have used Zoom.
The country's supreme.
Good argument for remote work. Telling your boss we should work remotely because, like, you see what happened in Iran? It's dangerous to be in office. We can't all be in one place.
Leader.
It's not that loud.
2 hours and 5 minutes after the jets took off, Israeli...
It's legitimately not that loud. What you guys... I'll put it down a little bit more. God, you're such a fucking whiner. You guys literally are so whiny. It's crazy. Some of you are like, it's fine. And the rest of you are like, oh my God. It destroyed my ears.
Missiles strike the compound. This is how the Israeli and US attacks on Iran unfolded, how the country's leader was killed, and what has happened since.
Okay.
By the time this video is published, new details might have emerged.
That's a fire. I need to have that.
The US, Israel, and Iran have a long history of tensions. Until 1979, Iran was an authoritarian monarchy ruled by Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. He was supported by the US. When his regime was overthrown in the Iranian Revolution, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini took control of the country and founded the Islamic Republic. He was determined to transform Iran into a country ruled by Islamic law.
I heard about this.
Khomeini abandoned the former Shah's pro-Western stance. The US and its close ally Israel were declared sworn enemies. Especially the opposition of Israel became a strategic...
I gotta say, he did nail the names. His pronunciation, that's
and ideological goal. Ruhollah Khomeini died in 1989 and was succeeded by Ali Khamenei, a cleric who quickly rose through the ranks and had become a key figure in the religious leadership of the country. Over time, Iran, Israel, and the US repeatedly engaged in conflicts. Sanctions were imposed onto Iran. Iran became a key financier of anti-Israeli militias in the region.
I heard this in a big
In
clip.
2002, it was uncovered that Iran was enriching uranium at 2 secret locations. The enriched uranium could be used for nuclear reactors or nuclear weapons, a fear the US and its allies had had for a while already. Iran has repeatedly denied its alleged pursuit of nukes. The US and Israel ran many attempts to stop the nuclear program. Through cyber attacks, the assassination of key scientists, and especially in the US.
They had a really insane cyber attack that I remember reading about a long time ago. Do you guys remember this? They fucked with the software. Yeah, the Stuxnet. And it sped up the fucking centrifuges to break the... That shit was crazy. Yeah, that shit was crazy.
This case through diplomacy. In 2015, the Obama administration and the Iranian regime agreed to a nuclear deal.
This is a good day, because once again, we're seeing what's possible with strong American diplomacy. Under the nuclear deal that we, our allies and partners, reached with Iran last year, Iran will not get its hands on a nuclear bomb.
However, in 2018, President Trump pulled out of the deal.
The fact is, this was a horrible, one-sided deal that should have never, ever been made.
Ever since, relations have tensed up. In 2025, in the midst of new negotiations, Israel and the US launched a series of airstrikes on Iran using bunker-buster bombs. 3 Iranian nuclear sites were heavily damaged. In the same year, Iran plummeted further into an economic crisis. The currency crashed, food prices soared, people grew frustrated. By the end of 2025, mass demonstrations erupted across the country. Peaceful protesters and rioters called for the end of the Islamic Republic. Trump called for an uprising of the Iranian people against their government, saying help is on its way. But the regime brutally cracked down on the protests. It shut down the internet across the country.
Dude, I gotta say,
the regime brutally Iranian people.
I really hated this. The thing, given that even if you take the current timeline as he knew that as fact, this would be a month before America was going to do anything in Iran. So saying help is on the way in the middle of the protest, I think, people lost their lives for it. People were out in the streets protesting and they got brutally cracked down on. And they expected
people against their government, saying help is on its way. But the regime brutally cracked down on the protests.
You know what I'm saying? It's like
It shut down the internet across the country. For days, little to no news made it out. In the end, thousands of people were killed.
I read a lot about the way the internet, they built this, they call it like the halal internet. It's kind of like China's Great Firewall, I guess, but it's a completely separate internet for everything. And they have the ability to shut it off at will forever. Like it shuts off ATMs, it shuts off like everything. They can turn off every aspect of outline connections. And the only way people could get stuff out of the country during the blackout was with Starlink satellites hidden on their roof. And then the government was sending people to go door to door, check your roof, and break Starlink satellites. It was crazy.
50,000 reportedly got arrested. The US began to build up troops in the region, with Trump repeatedly threatening Iran. On Thursday, February 26, there was a last-ditch diplomatic effort between the two countries in Geneva. To no avail. Saturday, February 28, around 9:40 a.m.
My understanding is Israel and the US had already decided to strike before this. So this negotiation wasn't even real.
Saturday, February 28, around 9:40 a.m. in Tehran, Iran's capital. This government compound is not far from Hur Square. It reportedly houses offices of the Iranian presidency, Iran's National Security Council, and the supreme leader.
Wait, what?
Since 2025, the US has apparently gained...
If that's where they got blown up, that's insane. You went to your normal offices for a meeting at the beginning of a war where you know there's going to be missiles going and they have
specific
didn't go
insights how
anywhere else?
Ayatollah Khamenei and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps communicate and move while under pressure. Reportedly, the CIA has tracked Khamenei for months. They've mapped his whereabouts and studied his patterns. They're confident he's here today, and they learned of a meeting of top Iranian officials on site. The US and Israel originally intended to strike at night under the cover of darkness. But they reportedly moved their time of attack. This opportunity was too good to miss. Suddenly, Israeli missiles hit the buildings. During impact, several national security officials are in one of them, Supreme Leader Khamenei reportedly in another. Afterwards, satellite imagery shows heavy damage to the buildings. Black smoke is rising. Geo-confirmed footage recorded here also shows massive amounts of smoke in the area of the compound. A picture taken here, too. Ali Hosseini Khamenei died in the attack. Also killed, Sayyid Abdurrahim Mousavi, Chief of Staff of Iran's armed forces. Ali Shamkhani, head of the National Defense Council. Mohammad Pakpour, Commander-in-Chief of the IRGC. Aziz Nazerzadeh, Defense Minister. According to Israeli news, a total of 30 senior Iranian officials were killed in just half a minute in the opening strike. The operation was dubbed Roaring Lion in Israel and Epic Fury in the US. It has been planned for months. Masoud Pezeshkian, president of Iran, however, survived. Ali Larijani, secretary of the Supreme National Security Council, vowed Iran would fight back and assured continuity of governance. The strike on the government compound was just one part of the operation.
Epic Fury would have
Afterwards,
been better.
Israel reportedly take out Iran's air defenses, especially around Tehran. In a third wave, Israel deploys roughly 200 fighter jets, bringing much of its air force into Iran. The goal is reportedly to destroy as many Iranian missiles as possible, as fast as possible.
Right.
The US reportedly joins in about 30 minutes after the attack on Iran's leadership. According to the New York Times, their attacks focus primarily on targets in eastern Iran, far away from Israel. They also attacked the Iranian fleet. Reportedly, US warships fire Tomahawk cruise missiles at Iranian targets. American ground forces use artillery rocket systems. Several military and command centers in Tehran are hit by Israeli airstrikes. Further explosions are reported in Iranian cities across the country. Trump releases a video officially announcing the military operation and urges the Iranian people to take over their government.
When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take.
Netanyahu later does the same.
נבטיח את נצח ישראל.
Shortly after their announcement, an airstrike hits the Sarajevo.
I mean, that's one area where I'm seeing a lot of contention because, again, there's never been regime change without boots on the ground. And so they're kind of banking entirely on another uprising from people that just had 30,000 die in a crackdown. And the people with the weapons in the country still have the weapons. They still have the guns. So it's a lot to ask. I mean, again, it's a fog of war. Nobody knows what happens, but, you know, skeptical that there'll be this glorious uprising, this perfect uprising of the people. It just seems way more likely there'll be like either the IRGC holds and it's like the most brutal crackdown. They're weakened and fractured, but it's this brutal crackdown to maintain authority, or the center falls and it's like balkanization. It's like chaos. It's like what happened in Libya or what happened in, those seem more likely to me than like this swell of,
Girls' School in Minab, Hormozgan province. Iranian state media and officials claim that at least 175 people got killed, most of them likely children. These numbers have not yet been confirmed independently. According to the New York Times, the school is adjacent to an Iranian naval base. US Central Command announced an investigation into the strike. Iran launches Operation True Promise 4 and the retaliatory strikes begin. countless missiles are fired at dozens of sites across the Middle East.
Dude,
More than
they
200
did hit
missiles are
Dubai
launched
like
at East.
crazy, which was a little bit odd to me. All the military bases around, I get. The Israel, I get. But they hit Dubai like, there's like a bunch of Dubai hotels that got hit. They hit Dubai like 6 times. Like, it's not. I thought that was crazy.
Israel alone. In solidarity with Iran, the Houthis in Yemen announced that they will resume attacking shipping lanes in the Red Sea. This effectively ends a 3.5-month pause following the 2025 Gaza ceasefire. The US-led coalition reportedly intercepts several drones and missiles heading towards Erbil in the Kurdistan region of Iraq with no casualties. Multiple news outlets later report explosions near Erbil International Airport where US soldiers are stationed. That
Quad is
afternoon,
down?
Dubai International Airport is hit with an Iranian drone, striking Terminal 3 and effectively closing UAE airspace.
Dude, the amount of
Several
drone attacks has been
luxury
crazy,
hotels
too.
like the Burj Al Arab and Fairmont de Palm are set on fire. It's unclear whether this was the result of a direct attack or if the fires were
Well, I hope Claude is back up by tomorrow when my video comes out saying people should cancel OpenAI and try Claude. If it's down, that's a bad look.
caused by debris from intercepted missiles. But the UAE isn't the only country targeted by Iran. In Bahrain, missile and drone attacks hit the US Navy 5th Fleet headquarters. Footage shows what appears to be an Iranian Shahed drone striking a tower block roughly 20
Shahed.
minutes from the facility.
Yeah, but we
In
never announced
Qatar,
that.
the Ministry of Interior reports 66 ballistic missiles were fired at the country. The debris reportedly injured at least 8 people. In Saudi Arabia, the Prince Sultan Air Base is targeted by ballistic missiles, which are reportedly successfully intercepted. In Jordan, the military reports that it has intercepted and downed 49 drones and ballistic missiles, likely headed for the major US military base.
I retweeted something that said, let's see LeBron do that. I don't know why would that crack me up. It was Jordan fucking stops 2 ballistic missiles.
Bases across the country. In Kuwait, Iranian drones strike 2 passenger terminals of the Kuwait International Airport. In Syria, debris from an Iranian missile kills at least 4 civilians while injuring several others. Both Qatar and Saudi Arabia announced that they reserve the right to respond. The Arab League condemns Iran's attacks. Following the blanket strikes by Iran, NATO senior command said its missile defense systems in Europe and its early warning radar in Turkey are on alert. Some experts warn that Iran may activate sleeper cells in Europe and North America. There are many more events and details we can't cover in this video, as attacks continue back and forth. So let's zoom out a bit. The
I
US's
love a good zoom
involvement
out.
in the attacks is controversial. On Truth Social, Trump said this:
Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world.
it's an argument for a war of necessity. An attack was looming across the sea, so the US had to strike preemptively. But it's unclear how Iran's activities directly endangered the United States. Iran was apparently years away from obtaining a nuclear weapon.
I think Rubio said it today. They asked Rubio about it, and he basically said that Israel was going to attack no matter what. And Iran said if they were attacked by anyone, they would hit all these targets in this area. They would shoot the missiles they shot, which would hit all the military bases that the U.S. has. So Rubio said, because, the question becomes, why doesn't the U.S. have more influence on being able to stop Israel from doing an attack at will? But because they were seen as this unmovable force that was going to attack, the U.S. wanted to be part of a preemptive attack because that's just better military strategy at that point if they're going to shoot missiles anyway.
States.
But we mentioned that in the video with the tail wagging the dog thing.
Iran was apparently years away from obtaining a nuclear weapon, according to the US's own intelligence. The country's ballistic missile arsenal is estimated to reach no more than 3,000 kilometers, a threat to neighboring countries, but not to the US. Iran might have been attacked because it was in a uniquely weak position. as a type of preventive measure. This might make this a war of choice, not one of necessity.
These preventive wars are often condemned internationally, not only because they're optional, because if every nation went out to strike adversaries who they thought were temporarily weak, we would live in a world of constant war.
According to international law, a war of choice would be illegal. There are also discussions whether the attack was in violation of the U.S.
International law is a joke at this point. It doesn't even worth bringing up. International law doesn't mean shit. There's nothing. There's nothing to it. I would say the Constitution does mean something, but they've been very, very cavalier with it in this administration.
Constitution. Trump started the war without congressional approval. Across the US and parts of the world, protests erupted, partly against the Iranian regime, partly against American involvement in the war. Oil prices have risen sharply. Experts warn of an impending global energy crisis because of the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. In Iran, people celebrate the death of Ayatollah Khamenei. Others are grieving. At this point, it remains unclear who will succeed him. For now, the regime formed a provisional government. It seems set on revenge and continues to strike Israeli and US bases. The exact number of deaths is hard to determine at this point. According to the US military, so far 3 American soldiers have been killed, with 5 seriously injured. According to Al Jazeera, 10 people have been killed in Israel, 3 in the UAE, 1 in Bahrain, 1 in Kuwait, 13 in Lebanon, and 2 in Iraq. The Iranian Red Crescent has reported that since the attacks, at least 555 people have been killed, with hundreds injured. According to the Times of Israel, these numbers do not differentiate between military and civilians. The situation is likely to escalate further in the upcoming days. Timely reporting like this is incredibly resource-intensive. It's only possible thanks to today's sponsor, hence.
Okay, I actually think that was a good video. I thought that video was pretty measured, fact-based, and showed some. I thought that was a pretty good video. I'm gonna say, I'll be honest with you. I thought it was pretty good. Good job, Fern. I thought that would have been more sensationalized, but it wasn't. Yeah, and there wasn't like a whole ton of preamble or anything. That was pretty good. That was pretty good, all things considered. Shout out, because I've been disappointed with most YouTube videos lately we've been watching. I think that might be call time for Big A. Unless there's a, well, a banger, Lena Khan. What is this? Dude, this is no disrespect because I've watched many great videos from this channel, but More Perfect Union has been getting more clickbaity with their title thumbs as the actual substance of some of these videos is like super basic. They've been like this what you're linking me is about a very old Lena Khan thing during her administration about Pepsi price raising. And it's like, it's actually pretty minor. And they frame it as, we found the secret conspiracy. And then you click it and it's like, that's not. But I guess it's been working. So what am I saying? Denzel Zell, thank you for the 39 months. Atrioc, I genuinely believed in Bitcoin at one point, and this video has changed my outlook.
In December 20.
It's a 32-minute Patrick Boyle video. What does he say? What's the big takeaway? What? What does it boil down to? Fuck, that's good. Fuck, +2. Shit. I gotta give you a fucking sub for that. How do you get this said person? I can't do it. Too bad. +2 though. I hope you get away with +2. New Almost Friday's a banger. I watched it on my own. It was funny though. It was funny. Why Russia low-key cooked with the war? I will not likely be live tomorrow, unfortunately, on account of the fact that I have to do 3 back-to-back recordings for Lemonade Stand. We're doing book club and we're doing Patreon and we're doing main episode. And so I don't think I will be live, unfortunately. That's my honest assessment. But I guess, I don't know. What time is it right now? You guys want to do best tweets? Fuck it. Fuck it. Best tweets of the past month. Fuck it. Give me the link. Give me the link. Let me ball. What are the funniest tweets of the past month? Let's go crazy with it. I don't think. Oh, here it is. Start.